Hi there and welcome. These are your handover videos for your Sprite Major 6 TD. Starting off at the front, we have your black hitch head and black lever, which you have to have pulled up to then be able to wind down the jockey wheel onto the tow bar. We'll snap down that handle, press up that red button and expose a green ring. You then have a breakaway cable just here. Legality states if you have an eye point, it has to be used. You have your handbrake here to disengage, press down and engage, you flick up. You have 13-pin electric, so if you are towing with something that has 7-pin adaptation, make sure to bring yourself an adapter. 2 points either side and 2 points at the back, you have inserts for your legs. Now the caravan itself comes with a leg winder, or alternatively you can get yourself a 19mm drill bit and a power drill just to make it that bit quicker. Do not attempt to jack up or level the caravan using your legs, they're simply used for stabilisation. Now we're using our test equipment today, so I have a red propane gas bottle. I'd always recommend propane over butane as it has a better performance in winter. Connected to that I have an in-date gas hose. Now this is dated 2025. Black gas hoses will run for 5 years. Orange ones will run for 10. And that connects onto this regulator just here. Hand tighten that as much as you physically can and then just nip it up using a spanner. You don't want it ridiculously tight as that will put excessive pressure on the O-ring, which can cause it to crack and break. On the opposite side, starting off first, we have your flow. Your flow is used to get clean air in and out of your boiler when operating on gas. Don't have to do anything with this except make sure it's nice, clean and tidy. I then have an Acrol for the clean drinking water and my water pump plugged in just here. Water pump plugs in by just pressing in, and to remove it you press the trigger and pull out. You have this plastic cap to go over the top of the Acrol, and then at the bottom we have your strainer. Now it's crucial that sits at the bottom of the barrel to allow the maximum potential of water to come through. Otherwise you can get airlocks and other bits like that. Next to that we have your battery locker. This example does have the battery on and has 2 terminals on the top which you can tighten up with the 12 or 13mm spanner. Next to that we have your mains lead, which plugs in here nice and easy, and then you have a little cutout to be able to feed it through. And lastly, on the exterior we have your toilet function. So on the bottom here you have 2 points where your wastewater is going to come out of. You'll need some 28.5mm waste pipe to then feed into a waste master that you can empty out at the appropriate point on site. And here we have your cassette. To remove it, press up and out, and then this handle does also extend out and up as well, so it can be used similar to a carry-on suitcase. Twist this head to the side, open up that cap, and what you want to do is tilt, and at the same time as tilting, continually press in that vent button. As you can see on this example, I've put in some fresh water. The main reason I do that is so you open up this compartment, you feed it in there, just so it makes it smell a bit. Jesus Christ. That's distracted me a bit. Twist that cap back on. You can add some blue chemical which works as like the deodorizer. Push that back in and press it in so the orange handle sits behind those white teeth. Then you have your flush tank just above. This has a capacity to fill at around 12 litres, however I wouldn't recommend putting in any more than 10 as you don't want to overfill the compartment. You can also add some pink chemical which works as a bleach without being corrosive. However, don't put actual bleach down here because it is all plastic. Now you don't want to travel with either of these too full, so just at the top you've got a little bung to drain off any remaining water. The caravan itself will be fully drained before you take it. Then underneath your right hand side seat you have all of this here, so I won't recommend storing anything. Underneath this compartment you have your boiler, and connecting to the boiler you have all of these blue leads just here. You can see there you have that yellow drain valve. When it's facing in the position as it is right now, that is allowing the flow of water to come through. Flick it up to the vertical position and that will drain off any remaining water from the system, which is how you will collect the caravan. You have these 2 components on the side which are the flow jets which will pull through the water. On the top you have your trips and fuses, all your trips in the upright position and all your fuses in the correct position as well. I'd always recommend carrying some extra fuses across the van. Then on the power supply, you can see spare, heated and hot water, charger, all illuminated, showing that they're all working. You then have a reverse polarity setting if you ever go abroad, and a complete system shutdown button. Press that in, nothing inside the van will operate. You can pull down this panel here, and it gives you a bit more information on your trips and fuses. Above the top here, you can see we have our main control panel. So right now, mains is coming into the caravan, and I can see that through the power button. I've pressed on the water pump, and as you can see, water pump is also illuminated, showing that it's active and on. You can view the levels of either the vehicle battery or the leisure battery by pressing in view levels or pressing in the representative one. Now, water is being pulled through at the moment into the boiler itself. Anytime any water is taken out, it will then be drained out of the system and refilled from the Aqua. Just here we have your Truma control system. So it's currently on right now, so press in. First up, you have the caravan with the thermometer in. This is for the internal temperature that you desire. Goes up to a maximum of 30 and starts at 5, and whatever I select, it will get to that temperature in an hour. Next up, we have water heat, so it's either off, 40, 60 or boost. Now what boost does, it will prioritize the heating of the actual water itself over the heating of the caravan. After half an hour, it will then drop it back down to eco. Next, we have energy source, so gas, a mixture of gas and 1 kilowatt, mixture of gas and 2 kilowatt, strictly electric with 1 or strictly electric with 2. So you've got the choice of gas mains or both. Then we have fan speed, so eco or high. Eco is nice and steady, high is a lot more vigorous. However, if I don't have the heat on at all, and go back to it, it's either off or vent. Now what vent does, it will circulate the air across the caravan. So if you were to have the windows open, it can draw through some nice fresh air. Then you have the timer. You select when you'd like the heating and hot water to start and then stop. So you first have to individually put in the hours, then the minutes for the start, and then the hours of the minute for the start, for the stop even. And then you have the correct time on this one, so it's not currently midnight, you just select the correct time. Then you have this spanner icon. This is your additional settings, so index, brightness, language, reset, offset. I'm not going to run through that, as we have set this to what we believe the most user-friendly panel to use. Now this screen will naturally fade off to a green colour when not interacted with, so it doesn't disturb you whilst you sleep. However, to turn this off completely, press and hold in, completely off. Then with regards to your tap, what you would do is you press the water pump button, come over to the tap, open up on both hot and cold, and what you're looking for is a nice steady continuous stream. Unfortunately, I forgot to do it when I was filming it, so this is how you would do it. You'd open up on both hot and cold and let it run through, just so it gets that nice steady continuous stream. Then here we have the toilet operation, so lift up the lid, press in the button, and you can hear that motor. That motor is what will push through any water in the system. To remove the waste, press away on the handle, opens up the catch, pull it back towards you to shut it up. When the cassette is full, there'll be a red light underneath to tell you to empty. Then here we have your gas cooker. So all of this operates on gas. What you have to do, press in the dial, twist it to the side and press the igniter. It may be a case it will take a while for the flame to ignite. That is natural. Just wait until they're all lit and then you should be able to run everything else off gas. I'd always recommend running through this first before you switch over the fridge or the heating to gas. As you can see, all flames nice and lit. And it's the same concept for your grill. Press in, twist to the side, and you can see both sides nice and lit. And then lastly, it's the same concept for your oven. Press in, twist to the side, you can see that's nice and lit. Make sure this tray doesn't impede on the actual igniter, as otherwise it won't be able to light. You need to travel with this glass sheet down, but don't put it down until all of these are cold to the touch. And if you're traveling with a gas bottle, make sure it's off. And here we have your fridge operation. So to turn on, press and hold in, it will flash up and go to its most recent memory. When you see inside, lights are on when fridge is on. To change the source, press and hold in, and then you can switch between mains, that battery symbol which is representative of 13 pin, or gas. To select, press in on the grey square, then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, 5 being the most powerful, so it's going to chill it the quickest. If there's any hazards, it will come up on this side. So for example, if I were to now switch to the battery symbol, it will flash up with a hazard and tell me to deselect that. So press and hold in, switch over back to mains, and there you go. When you switch to gas, you don't have to do anything, you will just hear it click in. This light will continuously stay on no matter what, but to turn it completely off, press and hold in, no more light.